Katz and Cosby, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Well, when we go to the general, let's talk about the big news that President Trump says they are going to unleash on Iran, and they said they're going to bomb the blank out of them. So who better than Brigadier General Blaine Holt to tell us what you know? What do you know about what's coming, General?
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, it's a can of whoop butt out of a 55-gallon drum.
The Gov likes that analogy. Governor Patterson's here. He likes that.
He cleaned it up for our whole audience. I love that, General.
There's an
that
Air
was
Force
great.
way to say that. Okay, so look, what we've proven is that there is complete chaos in the leadership realm, or what it used to be in the regime of Iran. I believe that the missiles that were fired were not done so with any real centralized command and control. You have one side begging for at least a discussion, not even trying to get a ceasefire. And then you've got some fielded commander who said, wow, I've got missiles and that's a base and I'm going after it. And also there's a tell here. There's weapons that are being launched up into Erbil, Iraq. And that tells me that they're just trying to stave off the Kurds who are coming into northern Iraq or northern Iran now as part of a revolution that I think is all but imminent.
Oh, that's interesting. You're right that they were hitting in there. Let me get to the divided stuff, because that was something, Blaine Holt, that President Trump was talking about today. It's so funny because, he answered more questions today, I think, than Biden did in his whole, presidency. But one of the reporters asked him, what's your response? And he said, this is a different group than the ones we're dealing with, we're negotiating with, that he says did these strikes. But nonetheless, payback is going to be a blank, and we're going to really hit them hard. Do you think he's starting to say it doesn't really matter who it is, you got to rein them in? I'm not going to use the excuse that we're talking to maybe, quote, a calmer group. Rein them in.
No, that's exactly right. And, when we took this little pause to maybe stoke a conversation, the other thing that we were doing is really getting a yardstick out and measuring how much of the combat power of the IRGC have we degraded. Well, we know we've degraded their weapon systems and their ability to talk to each other, that's for sure. But what we're doing now is we're getting right back onto the gas. And I knew we were going to do this regardless because we want to get conditions just right so that the Iranians can take this into their own hands. And we'll never abort them or leave them in the lurch as far as U.S. aircraft and air power are concerned.
Judge Weinberg.
General, good to talk to you again, sir. So there are reports that the Chinese moving through Pakistan are getting some 400-odd missiles, handheld missiles, to Iran. What do you make of that, and what do we do about this?
Yeah, I saw that. So they were looking at selling 400 missiles, QW-12s and FN-16s. These are missiles that are pretty good at evading countermeasures, but they're only effective from low altitude, meaning about 400 feet up to 18,000 feet. Now, and when we conduct our bombing operations, we're well above that. But at the same time, you can easily see the threat to helicopters. Here's the bottom line. I don't believe China's going to be doing this in advance of that state visit coming. I don't believe the weapons dealers in Hong Kong have any ability to receive $70 million from the Iranians. And I don't believe that the Pakistanis, who have just sewed up and made better relations with President Trump via trying to get to a peaceful outcome, as managing weapons into overland routes that we will hammer before those missiles ever even see the light of day. I just don't see them anteing up that kind of geopolitical capital on a regime that's all but dead. Those missiles effectively will do nothing.
What about, though, also the fact that they seem to be giving some satellite information? I mean, a lot of people seem to maybe not the weaponry. Exactly, targeting our bases because they've gotten intel about certain things about our bases that is not necessarily public knowledge. Also, CIA dark sites, too, and that's China and Russia.
Yeah, so on the Chinese side, we've got to work that just from a political aspect, and I think President Trump's already flashed the tariff card in front of Xi Jinping. He's already due for a real rough visit because of the election stuff we just laid out. But in the Russian side, Lavrov just met with Rubio, and I'm sure Lavrov said, okay, I'll tell you what, you and NATO, more specifically, stop helping Ukrainians with targeting, and we'll make sure that Iran doesn't have access to our space assets. And there is a chord there to run diplomatically, because the last thing on this earth we want is for those two wars to fuse themselves together. There is very clear historic examples where that has happened, and it doesn't end up well. Yeah,
it's interesting because Iran, Zelensky yesterday also sort of suggested that, remember, they have information about these drones that Russians have been using and that Iran has been using. So it's similar technology, obviously.
It is true, but like President Trump said with regards to our intelligence on Pickaxe Mountain, the information's not very valuable if we already have it, and we do. And so we know everything there is to know about a Shahed 136 drone. No secrets under the hood there. They would love to see ours, but I think what they'd really love to see is our new counter-drone technology, which is getting better and better by the hour. And I know that for a fact from some of these contractors.
Rudy Washington.
General, what was that about with the Iranians being attacked by Ukraine? Ukraine going after the Iranians 2 days ago.
Yeah, so the Ukrainians got some intelligence about a Caspian Sea vessel that may have been smuggling weapons, and there was Iranian crew on board. They attacked it, and I think that they thought this would be the greatest thing to endear themselves with the United States. After all, these are mutual interests. But what I think happened behind the scenes, Rudy, is that I'll tell you what, you're going to keep the Ukraine-Russia war away from the Iranian war, because the last thing we want is Russia and China coming off the sidelines and seeing great powers in direct contact with each other.
Yeah, he's worried. Doesn't want them to meld. It's going to be. It's interesting. There are a lot of chess pieces here, as we're all talking about.
The guns of August.
Yeah.
World War I.
Yep. Exactly.
And the dollars of August. Now it's an economic war as well. And kudos to Secretary Bessent for drying up just about every channel of money laundering possible to the Iranians.
Yeah, and hopefully it keeps coming. There's that sanction bill that they want to name after Lindsey Graham. That's Russian, and they want to add Iranian sanctions. I say squeeze the heck out of them. Thank you very much, Blaine. We love you. Thank you, Blaine.
Love you back. Always my pleasure.